Hey there, it's Teresa here, and welcome to another episode of Conversations from My Couch. I'm Teresa Youngkin. I am a leadership coach and consultant, and you can find me here every Wednesday having a conversation about all things leadership. So just wanted to say we had a pretty successful and pretty energetic leadership challenge. Today is day 10 of 10. So it has been a great pleasure serving each and every one of you that came to the challenge. I'm just so pleased and excited and can't wait for our work to continue on together. So let's get started this week, leading through action. So this past 10 days has all been about taking action. Every single day, there was something to do. People jumped on, they completed whatever the task it was for the day. And I have to say that it was absolutely indicative of somebody who's extremely courageous to do that. Number one, it's courageous to reach out when you need help. And number two, to actually not just formulate and strategize, but to actually take those step-by-step actions to get you to a new level, to get you to a new mindset, to get you to just a new understanding of where you are. So, always the best leaders are action takers, right? And action takers can be well known like Steve Jobs, or they can be you. Put your name here, right? Like you're always taking action each and every day to get better, to do better. So let's define an action taker this way. When you lead through action, you set a positive example for your team and you inspire others to just take action as well. I mean, right? Like you're the leader, you're showing people the way, and people are only going to believe what they see. So one of the ways that we want to just avoid the one reputation killer and the one major roadblock that you can run into, it's called hypocrisy, right? So there are a few things that will inspire dissent in your organization and it will run rampant. And the one thing is for that leader or you as a manager to be seen as hypocritical. So, sometimes nobody likes to be asked to do things, and it may come across to others that you're being superior and you're unwilling to do it yourself. And, that's really something that drives a lot of very strange feelings, and people will start to look at you. Number one, it's a hypocrite. And number two is thinking that you're better than they are. So as you're understanding where you are and you take courage to do something, make sure that you're really tied into the fact that being in charge comes with responsibility. And just by simply always giving your team the worst job that there is to do, they'll perceive that like as an abuse of power. So just be mindful of that. Sometimes we say we don't have time for it and we're constantly shoving things off. And I understand it's a valid point to be very busy. It's a valid point to do some other things. But if your team is always perceiving that you're the person that's always just shoving stuff off onto them, you're not going to have a lot of you'll ruin your reputation. And the second thing is that they will always see you. They'll see you as a hypocrite in a way, just because of the fact that you're telling them to do stuff no matter what, and you never do this stuff no matter what. Just a heads up there. Leaders really want to be decisive, right? So if you're leading through action, you want to be decisive. And decisive is generally defined as like you can quickly make a decision and be willing to commit to an action. But sometimes we tend to not make decisions. It can be out of fear. It can be out of unknowing. So you need to make sure that you're looking at things so that you come across as decisive. That is it's a courageous step to take, right? Sometimes it's really hard to make a decision because you don't want to be wrong, but you also don't want to always just sit there and be in a reactionary role. You want to be proactive, or at least be seen or perceived as proactive by your team. Let's see, I got my notes here. So, when there's a plus and a minus, right? Make a quick decision and you fail. You know what? Be transparent with the team and say, hey, we tried this, but there's another door that opened up. We know that is not the path to take. So let's go a different way. Conversely, it is really inspiring for your team members to see somebody who's going to take action and not be afraid to take action. You will be perceived as courageous, and courageous is something that people can get behind and that people can buy into and that employees can be engaged with. see, responsibility. This is like a big one for everybody. I should probably make my notes bigger. But just being responsible for everything that you do, that's that's hard, right? If you make a mistake, it's important that you own up to it. Sometimes it's hard to do, it's hard to take, but you know what? The first thing you need to do is just to be calm. You need to be collected, and sometimes it comes with reprimand from a superior, and sometimes you got to take the punches as they come, but always remember that it's always crucial to remain calm in a crisis. Everybody makes mistakes. People, your leaders have made mistakes. People underneath you are going to make mistakes. So how you take that, ingest it, and continue to walk on, that's so very important to be an example to your team of how to handle that. You know what? If you stay calm, that is the best way to address the situation. You know, sometimes you just got to be courageous. Another word for that could be stoic. If you don't have it or you don't possess it naturally, can you develop it? Yes, you can. Does it mean that you just need to be acting tough? No, that's not what it means at all. That means that you're just reacting to situations in a way where you're handling your emotions and you're handling the emotions around you. You know what? One thing that all courageous leaders have done, and you can read, is Eric Gilfin from Google, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey. They've all reached out to somebody else for help, and they do that like in a form of either coaching or mentorship. And part of working with a coach is that you start to understand who you are better. One thing that they do is they do an assessment. That's why I talk about doing things like the DISC assessment. It's so important that you understand who you are and how you're most comfortable interacting with others. Only when you understand yourself can you really understand others, right? I know that, again, I chose DISC because I did a bunch of research on a bunch of different assessments. And the one thing that really resonated with me is that I have a certain personality type. You have a certain personality type. And the best thing that you can do is to understand how that fits into other situations. And I love the way that the DISC does that. The DISC can also be a tool that you use with your team. Your team can also take the DISC. So it's not just for leaders, it's for the team, for them to understand, your employees to understand who they are and how they fit in the organization and how they respond to others. And once everybody understands, you can come together and work as a team, right? You understand when we're forming, when we're storming, when we're norming, when we're performing. You know that Tuckman's model of group maturation. When they're going through that, if people understand how they react to the situations and who the other people are that they're reacting with and how those people react to the situations, it's powerful. It's powerful for them to come together and to understand. Like I said, I love it. Just want to let you guys know that I'm now an authorized trainer for the DISC. I've been using it for a couple of years. I absolutely love it. I love it. I use it with all. I sound like I love it, love it, love it from Saturday Night Live. But I absolutely do love it. And I use it with teams. I've used it with Scrum teams, with development teams. And I have to say, it has brought them to a place of understanding so that they can truly perform at a higher level. So you know what? If you're not sure if DISC is right for you, or you're not really sure what all of this means, please book a call and let's talk. So, and being courageous is taking that first step and to do something. If you know that there's something that needs to be fixed, or there's something that you want to work on, taking that first step is the biggest thing that you can do for yourself and for your team. And whether you're a leader, a manager, or you're an employee, if it's something that's really driving you and you want to get to the next level, I'd encourage you to start being courageous. Start with yourself first, and then start to look outwards. So I think, right, Stephen Covey, his great quote, seek first to understand and then to be understood. So with that, I leave you guys. Again, thanks to everybody who participated on the challenge. I am so thrilled. Look for another email later today, and I will catch the rest of you on the flip side here next Wednesday, where I'll be having another conversation from my couch. All right, now, peace.